Before we begin, a couple of words about what it means to celebrate tonight. We are all aware of what's happening and what has been happening in the world out there. 5784 was an annus horribilis from October 7th onward. It is a year that will live in infamy. And this year that has begun will surely bring its own challenges. Over the next 90 minutes, we cannot change the world out there, but we can change the world in here and in here. And so I welcome you and invite you to think, to reflect, to connect, and to change in the time that we are together. Our service begins with an invitation on page 1. Either you will go through this door, or you will not go through. If you go through, there is always the risk of remembering your name. Things look at you doubly, and you must look back and let them happen. If you do not go through, it is possible to live worthily, to maintain your attitudes, to hold your position, to die bravely. But much will blind you, much will evade you. At what cost? Who knows? The door itself makes no promises. It is only a door.
The light of life is a finite flame. Like candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed and is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flame. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life.
Let us here, we are together. We are many, we are one. A living community of vibrant Jewish people is an orchestra. Each artist, each section plays with all its feeling and talent. Each instrument is different, and a unity among wind and percussion, brass and string, wood and metal would seem impossible. Yet the orchestra of Jewish culture, of our congregation, creates beauty time and time again.
We are stronger together. We come together when we need strength after death and loss, facing challenge and uncertainty. We come together to celebrate our joys, new life, new beginnings, a new year. We are the Jewish people, open and closed, mature and young, the past and the future, the present and the possible.
We are here.
We are together.
What we desire
Can truly be.
יש מפרוס לבן באופק מול ענן שחור כבד כל שנבקש לו יהי ואם בחלונות הערב אור נרות החג רועד כל שנבקש לו יהי לו יהי לו יהי הללויה כל שנבקש לו יהי לו יהי לו יהי הללויה כל שנבקש לו יהי כל ענות אני שומע כל שופר וכל תופים כל שנבקש לו יהי לא תשמע בתוך כל אלה גם תפילה אחת מפי כל שנבקש לו יהי לו יהי לו יהי הללויה כל שנבקש לו יהי לו יהי לו יהי הללויה כל שנבקש לו
בחודש השביעי, באחד לחודש, יהיה לכם שבתון, זיכרון תרועה, מקרא קודש. Please say with me, in the 7th month, on the 1st of the month, you shall hold a solemn ceremony, a memorial of shofar blowing, a sacred assembly. Tekiah! Shevarim. Teruah. Tekiah. In Jewish history, the shofar was heard often. In pastoral times, the shofar called out warnings and celebrations. In cities, the shofar announced the beginning of the Sabbath. Tekiah was the time to stop work and return home and family. In our days, the shofar only sounds at the turn of the seasons, the beginning of the Jewish New Year. It still evokes the same emotions, warning and celebration, ceasing routine to connect with family and community. In our hearts, the shofar on Rosh Hashana binds us to our past and our future, to the Jewish people in every time and every place, to the natural world from which we came. In the shofar's echoes, we are called to pursue our highest values, our deepest truths, our best intentions, and our better natures. We are here, we are together. Tiku v'chodesh shofar b'kesa layom chagenu. Please say with me, sound the shofar on the new moon and on the full moon for our day of celebration. Tekiah.
Jewish means a sense of being part of a long history, of being part of a people, the Jewish people, that is like an extended family with branches all over the world and reaching back many centuries into the past. It means feeling connected to other Jews, even though one might not speak their language or even agree with their religious beliefs. Being Jewish is like having friends who grew up in the same neighborhood but are now scattered throughout the world. They share common memories and history, but they may have grown in different directions and come to different conclusions about the meaning of their experience as Jews, about the meaning of life itself. There is no single Jewish belief about anything.
Song without end. Inside the brand new museum, there's an old synagogue. Inside the synagogue is me. Inside me is my heart. Inside my heart is a museum. Inside the museum, a synagogue. Inside it, me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum.
Chock brennt auf Feuer und in Stub ist es. Und der Bibel kleine Kinder lacht, dem alle gedenktjateiere, vafererendo. Sagt noch einmal und noch einmal, kommet's alle vor. Sagt noch einmal und noch einmal, kommet's alle vor. By the fireside where the embers glow, through the wintry days, there the teacher softly with our little ones chants the Aleph Beis. There the teacher softly with our little ones chants the Aleph Beis. Learn your lessons well, remember, precious ones, the letters of our law. Chant ye once again, and yet once again, comets Aleph Law. Chant ye once again, and yet once again, comets Aleph Law.
The beginning of wisdom is still wisdom. The first brick in a foundation does not define a building, but without it, nothing would stand. The first step down a path can still help us to see our ultimate goal. Like the human heart, the Torah contains love and hate, violence and compassion, caring and cruelty. Like the Jewish experience, the Torah expresses the joy of community, the fear of the foreign, and the challenges of life. If it is the beginning of Jewish wisdom, it is neither the peak nor the end of our knowledge. It is no wonder that this should be true. It was the Jewish experience and human beings that created the Torah. The Jewish people have read and interpreted, understood and misunderstood, imagined and recreated these passages in their own image from generation to generation. Since the Torah's completion 2,500 years ago, humanity has progressed tremendously in ethics and philosophy, in law and literature. Let us return to our first steps that we might see where we may travel in our days.
I invite you, if you choose, to rise as we remove our Torah scroll from the ark. Vayitar Yitzchak leYaveh לנוכח אשתו כי עקרה היא, ויעתר לו יהווה ותהר רבקה אשתו, ויתרוצצו הבנים בקרבה. ותאמר אם כן למה זה אנוכי? ותלך לדרוש את יהווה. ויאמר יהווה לה, שני גויים בבטנך ושני לאומים ממאייך יפרדו, ולאום מלאום יאמץ, ורב יעבוד צעיר. וימלאו ימיה ללדת, והנה תומים בבטנה. ויצא הראשון אדמוני כולו כאדרת שעיר, ויקראו שמו עשיו. ואחרי כן יצא אחיו, וידו אוחזת בעקב עשיו, ויקרא שמו יעקב. ויצחק בן 60 שנה בלידה אותם. ויגדלו הנערים, ויהי עשיו איש יודע צייד, איש שדה, ויעקב איש תם, יושב אוהלים. ויאהב יצחק את עשיו, כי צייד בפיו, ורבקה אוהבת את יעקב. ויעזד יעקב נזיד, ויבוא עשיו מן השדה, והוא עייף. ויאמר עשיו אל יעקב, הליטני מן האדום הזה, כי עייף אנוכי, על כן קרא שמו אדום. ויאמר יעקב, מכרה כיום את בכורתך לי. ויאמר עשיו, הנה אנוכי הולך למות, ולמה זה לי בכורה? ויאמר יעקב, השביעני כיום, וישבע לו, וימכור את בכורתו ליעקב. ויעקב נתן לעשיו לחם ותזים עדשים, ויאכול וישת, ויקום וילך, ויבז עשיו את הבכורה. Isaac appealed to his God Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. Yahweh heard his appeal, and Rebekah his wife conceived. The children struggled within her. She said, if it is to be like this, why do I live? She went to ask Yahweh, and Yahweh told her, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 peoples will be separated from your body. The one people will be stronger than the other people. The elder will serve the younger. When her days to deliver were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. They named him Esau. After that, his brother came out, and his hand had hold on Esau's heel. He was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. The boys grew. Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the field. Jacob was a quiet man, living in tents. Isaac loved Esau because he ate his venison. Rebekah loved Jacob. One day Jacob boiled stew. Esau came in from the field famished. Esau said to Jacob, please feed me with some of that red stuff, for I am famished. And thus his name was called Edom, from Adom, red. Jacob said, first, sell me your birthright. Esau said, behold, I am about to die. What good is the birthright to me? Jacob said, swear to me first. And he swore to him. He sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew. He ate and drank. He rose up and went on his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. The Torah does politics through stories. Jacob will be renamed Israel, quite literally the father of the nation, with his 12 sons becoming 12 tribes. In real history, the tribes came first, and the story came second as a way to bind the tribes together as brothers, not just allies. And Esau, Jacob's brother, Esau becomes Edom, the Edomites, another Semitic nation that battled with Israel. Edom was a real nation to the south of Israel and Judah, attested in archaeology and in the accounts of other nations. Yet Esau does not remain Edom in Jewish thought. In Jewish thought, Edom is also Rome. Edom is Christendom and Islam. Jews believe that Edom was the eternal enemy because the rivalry, the hostility, even the warfare between Jacob and Esau, Israel and Edom, the Jews and the nations throughout Jewish history started in the womb and carried on into life, then and even now, because, in the rabbinic phrase, Esav soneh et Yaakov, Esau hates Jacob. In that same corner of the world, today Edom is perhaps closest to Iran and its allies Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas. The last 12 months in Israel and Palestine, and now Lebanon and soon to be Iran, we have seen terrible violence and suffering, dislocation and fear from October 7th onward. I do not lose much sleep over casualties among Hamas and Hezbollah. But if the world should weep for Israeli civilians who were raped and killed and kidnapped on October 7th, we can also spare tears for the civilians behind whom those terrorists hide and who are caught in the crossfire. The thousands dislocated from Israel south and north, thousands dislocated within Gaza and Lebanon, war that goes on with no ceasefire, no resolution, no long-term plan in sight. The mythological archetype persists. Who owns the land? Who owns the birthright? Who has played by the rules and who is immoral? Who is wild and violent in the fields and who is civilized in the tents? Who do you love? And you can only love one. It begins to feel like the ancient conflict is part of the fabric of reality, back to the earliest days and ongoing forever. I offer two options for hope. First, as the story progresses, Jacob and Esau's relationship gets worse, and still worse. But after many years in travels, trials, and growth and learning, eventually there is a reconciliation, wary but real. Conflicts, even those that began before birth, need not last forever. The pre-birth of modern Israel was the pre-birth of the Israel-Palestine conflict. They were born grasping each other's heels. The move from there to clasping hands is long and difficult, but not impossible. Second hope, it's only a story. Yes, I know that narratives reflect human psychology and insight into the human condition. I know that myths set templates and expectations, they define beliefs and possibilities. Yet there is no cosmic author who has set the template that these peoples and their conflicts must follow. If there is a book of life that opens tonight, it is a new page that we can write. We can tell a new story of Jacob and Esau, of Israel and Edom, of today and tomorrow. May the only red stuff between us be lentil stew in our lifetimes. Please rise as we return the Torah scroll to the ark.
When I say I am Jewish, I affirm the fact that I am part of an extraordinary people who began as a nation in ancient Judea and have become, over the centuries, an international family. This family is united through space and time by shared ancestry, shared culture, and shared historical memories.
The meaning of Jewish history and the Jewish experience offers us guidance for how to lead our lives as individuals. The implication of Jewish history is a way of life that we call the life of courage. The story of the Jews is a story of survival against overwhelming odds, in which the key to survival has not been the kindness of the fates, but rather the courage and determination of brave men and women. Living courageously means that we do not expect outside magical powers to bring justice to the world. It means that the responsibility for justice is ours, and that the power for justice, however limited, is ours. As for our own personal happiness and fulfillment, the responsibility and power are also ours.
Living the life of courage as a Jew also means that we celebrate our history. The holidays and ceremonies of the Jewish people do not honor mysterious powers that never seem available to help us when we need them. They celebrate the power of brave people to confront a dangerous world and to live their lives with justice and dignity.
Avinu Malkeinu, Aro Avotenu, Asinu Chelkeinu, Karkanu Goralinu, Asinu Chelkeinu, Asinu Chelkeinu, Lamro
Jewish and human too. Just be a person, says one voice. All these borders and boundaries, these cities and ethnicities, they are walls between people, barriers to break through, not positive connections of mature affection. I had higher aspirations for you. Be a person, affirm a common humanity. That is your best identity. Who are you if not a Jew, asks another. Your parents, your family, your name, your holiday, they give you away. Your heart's feeling at the sounds of your youth, your language, your sentiment, betray a deeper truth. So you doubt, question, challenge. Challenge, schmallenge, nothing is new under the sun, we wrote. So deny tradition a veto, or even a vote. There's little you can do, you're a Jew.
In the old tradition, both are true. See the world from the particular. Be particular with a wider view. Jewishness, humanity, two eyes give depth and clarity, capacity to see, to weep, to smile, to emote beyond word or culture. Each eye is beautiful and flawed and needed in its own way for its own ends. Know who you are and make that, transform that, live that in a spirit of full humanity. The simple solution. A mensch is a person, the fullest kind, to a T. Yiddish says it most efficiently. Being Jewish is as human as we make it to be.
This is the most exciting time to be Jewish in our entire history. We do not suffer from persecution. We are no longer bound by the constraints of halacha. We have opportunities undreamed of by our ancestors. We can and do rise to the very top of the culture in all its aspects: academic, artistic, political, entrepreneurial. For the first time, we are truly free. Free to be and do what we wish. Free to seek truth. And whatever our minds and experience lead us, free to express our Jewishness however we wish. And in exercising this freedom, we are most truly Jewish.
Share in the new Jewish emancipation. The first emancipation in the 18th century and 19th centuries was political. It granted Jews the right to participate as equals in the political, economic, and social life of the larger society. The second emancipation is the 21st century's. It is psychological and spiritual. It frees our minds and our hearts from the beliefs of the past so that we may think new thoughts and create new convictions. We cannot know where the new emancipation will take us. Knowing from whence it came, though, we can be sure it is a blessing.
This next song that our choir will present for us is a song that hopes for peace in multiple languages. It is asking for shalom. It is hoping for salam, which is peace in Arabic, and not just aleinu, but al-kulam, for everyone, everywhere. It is an aspiration. It may feel very distant at the moment, but it is still a prominent part of our heart, our ideals, and our vision for the future.
Someone laid the petals in the big dictionary again. We always do that, placing such things in heavy books, wishing to hold what we know will inevitably pass.
But have you noticed how perfectly they were located, pressed there between metalwork and meter, directly under metaphor?
Surely that is what they are now. Their luminous bodies and lustrous flesh have gone where summers go, and only the veins remain as a testament to the sweet sap that ran with the solstice.
But I will bet that it was just chance that defined those petals as well. Chance can set things right.
I mean, look at us, where we are, how we met in the deep waters between the metalwork and meter, and then how we have come to cleave together, tighter than the weave woven of the shadows in the woods, thicker than the juices that run through all the golden veins of summer.
If you are comfortable standing, could I ask you to stand for just a moment? It has been a year of loss for the Jewish people, for many peoples in that part of the world and all over the world. War continues, disease continues, and there are also the intimate losses of family. Even in the natural course of life, those losses leave us a little bit emptier, a little bit sadder, longing for connections that live in our minds, but are no longer at our fingertips or at the touch of a button to talk on the phone. We think back to the year that has passed and remember our losses. And so it is appropriate, even as we celebrate the beginning of a new year, to create a space for memory and to feel the love we still feel for those of our loved ones and the empathy we feel for those in the world facing loss. I invite us to pause for a moment of silent reflection. In the Hebrew Bible, in the book of Proverbs, we read, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. The memory of a good person is a blessing to us. Please be seated as we hear a song of love.
Oh
Where is the Messiah? It seems like everything is falling apart. No social order, no values, no kindness, environmental collapse, war, anti-Semitism, communal conflict, poverty. The list goes on and on. It just seems too much for us to fix. A Messiah promises to solve all of our problems. Miraculous intervention, cosmic authority, universal peace and fellowship. Belief in the Messiah was born from disaster, the first destruction of Jerusalem and the end of the line of King David. Since that disaster, believers have claimed that Mashiach, the Anointed, was about to come, or he was here, or he was just here and he's coming right back. From Jesus in late antiquity to Shabtai Tzvi in early modernity, Jews have argued whether this Messiah is the real Messiah. Part of the argument has been whether the world is truly bad enough. They believed it would be darkest before the dawn, and the birth pangs of the Messiah would be the undoing of the world. Even today, some believers do not really care whether things get worse. The worse it gets, the happier they are. They may even try to move things along. I do not want a Messiah. I do not want to want a Messiah. Desperate times plus hoping for miracles equals bad decisions. You'll believe anyone and you'll do anything. We recognize that human feeling of doom and disaster, and we must find another response. We declare that we are not doomed because we know that we can make a difference in this world right now, today. No messiahs need apply. That Jewish tradition is even more dangerous than reality. Tonight is the beginning of the Jewish New Year. Tonight we connect to our extended Jewish family. Everyone here tonight, whatever your identity, is connected to the global Jewish people at this moment. We see candles, we hear the shofar, we grapple with Torah and tradition, just as Jacob grappled with his brother Esau in their mother's womb. Jacob is later renamed Israel, he who wrestles with God in the night. The next morning, when Israel finally sees his estranged brother Esau, Israel says that seeing his brother's face is like seeing the face of God. In other words, the Jewish people truly wrestle with each other. Even those welcoming Rosh Hashana tonight with a family meal instead of services face the challenge of extended time with extended family. Verbal wrestling guaranteed. There is nothing new about Jewish disagreement. There is one universal ancient Jewish tradition. Some Jews telling other Jews, "You're doing Judaism wrong." During the Exodus, Miriam and Aaron tell Moses, "You're doing it wrong." When Hebrew kings worshiped other gods or oppressed the poor, Hebrew prophets told them, "You're doing it wrong." In the Roman era, Jerusalem temple priests competed with early rabbis. The early Christian church and the Jewish establishment debated whether the Messiah had already arrived and left, or had he never arrived at all. In medieval times, Jewish rationalists like Maimonides battled Jewish mystics. In Eastern Europe, pietist Hasidim and religious legalist Misnagdim and Enlightenment Maskilim argued with each other, even excommunicated each other. In the early 20th century, Reform Jews wanted integration to the dominant culture. Zionists emphasized separation and creating a unique Jewish national culture in Hebrew. Diasporists promoted distinct Jewish culture in Yiddish while living among the nations. Each of these groups in their own day said the same thing to the other groups. You're doing Judaism wrong. Judaism has always been diverse, multivocal, multicultural, multi-practice, multi-theological. If we argue today, same as it ever was. Two Jews, many arguments with or without a Messiah. There are bitter Jewish divisions today, no doubt. Not talking about our disagreements will not make them disappear. We speak the truth. You can handle the truth. We live by our values and we believe what we say, so you're going to get the emes, the truth as I see it, on 3 key Jewish battles. First, those who celebrate the new Jewish diversity and those who hate it. Second, the ultra-Orthodox versus everyone else. And third, Zionists, Antizionists, and those caught in between. Touching any of these third rails gets rabbis fired. At Kol Hadash, I would fail my rabbinic duties if I did not address them. Agree with me, disagree with me, or be unsure, or change your mind half a dozen times. It may well be that there is no one answer to some of these problems, but there is a Jewish tradition for no answers also. When early rabbis debated Jewish law, sometimes a problem stumped them. Rosh Hashana is the first night of a Jewish month, therefore it is a new moon. Every Jewish month begins with a new moon. Before we could mathematically predict the new moon, months were decreed by a rabbinic court in Jerusalem. They saw the new moon, and then they let everyone know the month had officially begun. But what if it were cloudy in Jerusalem? Solution: use witnesses from elsewhere. New problem. What if your deciding witness is 12 years and 11 months old? Well, boys under age 13 are not bar mitzvah, not subject to commandments, and so they are not valid witnesses. If the boy is right and he did see the new moon, then the month is set and he is age 13 and a valid witness. If he's wrong, there was not a new moon and he is not a valid witness. In these circumstances, the Talmud's rabbis declared teku, we cannot resolve it. Now, they could have relied on 13-year-old girls, but they didn't accept women as witnesses back then. Teku, we cannot resolve it, is understood as the Tishbi will resolve the problems. When Elijah, the prophet, returns to announce the Messiah, Elijah will also make a stop in a yeshiva and solve all of these teku situations. Of course, there is no guarantee today that all Jews will agree on his answers, or for that matter, be happy about a Messiah at all. In this life, in this world, we may agree, or we may disagree, or agree to argue and still live together. Debate number 1, the new Jewish diversity. The whole idea of looking Jewish is over. Looking Jewish meant looking like a European Ashkenazi Jew. The idea of looking Jewish is part of a whole system, sometimes called Ashkenormative. Jewish food means bagels. Jewish music is klezmer. Jewish jokes are shtick. For centuries, there have been Sephardic Jews from the Balkans and Turkey, Mizrahi Jews from Syria and Iraq, Mughrabi Jews from North Africa, Persian Jews from Iran, Mountain Jews from Central Asia. It was never all Yiddish in Europe. Today, our diverse Jewish family includes thousands who have joined the Jewish people from every ethnicity, and thousands of children adopted into Jewish families. There are millions of people who are Jewish and one Jewish parent and another parent with their own cultures and identities. By now, there are plenty of Jewish and parents with their own Jewish and children. The Jewish and can celebrate one or both or all of their backgrounds. There are millions of loving partners who love a Jewish person and may be raising Jewish children or Jewish and children. We call those partners Jewish adjacent or Jewish-ish. You could call them Jew lovers. Technically accurate, but not the best term. The point is, looking Jewish, no more. Now, there are those who reject the new Jewish diversity. They long for the good old days when everyone Jewish looked the same, ate the same food, knew the same jokes. They tell these new Jews, you're not really Jewish. You're not really doing Judaism. Go away. To break that old tradition of you're doing it wrong, we must understand that declaring that Judaism says only what your kind of Jew believes is destructive, because it denigrates and delegitimizes other Jews and their Judaism. It is also flat out wrong, because with so many Jewish opinions, Jewish liturgies, Jewish rituals, Jewish cultures and customs, Jewish diversity is the Jewish tradition. We who celebrate Jewish diversity are the majority. No one Jewish Messiah, no one Judaism for all these varied Jews. Debate number 2, ultra-Orthodoxy. There is fake news out there about Jewish history that too many Jews believe. They believe that before modern times, all Jews were Orthodox. They were all strictly observant. They all prayed 3 times a day. They never questioned the rabbis. This is just not true. First of all, they were people. And second, they were Jewish. Medieval rabbis complained a lot about lax Jewish practice, argumentative Jews, too much mixing with the outside world. The word Orthodox did not appear until the 19th century, when early Reform Jews started making changes. Those who did not want change claimed to have the correct doctrine, orthodox. Yet even the Orthodox were split, as some of them were open to learning from modern knowledge and accepting some form of modern life, and others felt that any change was the camel's nose in the tent, the slippery slope, the first step on the road to ruin. The rejectionists, the Haredim, we say today, they raised all the walls, they drew up the drawbridge, they closed the doors and windows. In a phrase, their doctrine is Hadash asur min haTorah. What is new is forbidden according to the Torah. Yes, you can drive a car and use a phone, but not a smartphone, because that could lead to the internet. Changing ideas, challenging tradition, unthinkable. Haredi communities still live in Yiddish. They refuse to teach modern science and history and math past arithmetic. They marry off their children in their teens so they will be fruitful and multiply and not have time to wonder whether there is anything more beyond the Eruv, that imaginary boundary that enables carrying on Shabbat, but also binds you into a web of isolated community. This ultra-Orthodox Jewish world is alien to the majority of American Jews and Israeli Jews. The large majority of Jews do not keep kosher. We do not believe that observing traditional Jewish law is essential to being Jewish. We do not reject human learning and culture and society. We endorse them. And yet, ultra-Orthodox groups like Chabad receive millions of dollars from non-ultra-Orthodox Jews because too much of our 90% thinks that their 10% is preserving Judaism. They are preserving one kind of Judaism, but so are we. The Haredim refuse to serve in the Israeli Defense Forces. They claim that their study of Torah and Talmud does more for Israel's security than the army. Their real objection is to mixing with the outside world and seeing the grass might be greener beyond the Eruv. They believe that the real solution to Jewish problems is the Messiah. Some Chabadniks think the Messiah already came, as Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who died in 1994. Others believe that if every Jew everywhere observes the commandments, like lighting Shabbat candles, redemption will be at hand. Thus their outreach by asking, "Are you Jewish?" even outside of Highland Park High School. You think I'm joking? They're there. Shaking the lulav or lighting candles is just the first step, they hope. They are not waiting patiently for a Messiah to deliver them. They want Moshiach now, Messiah now. Their solution to Jewish pluralism is that everyone should do what they say. Their Judaism is not our Judaism. Their solution is not ours. Our Judaism will survive and thrive if we support each other, if we have the self-confidence of authenticity, if we stand proudly at the meeting point of tradition and modernity, saying yes and. We who live an open Judaism, we are the majority. No messiahs needed or wanted. Debate number 3, Zionism. We are not the first Jews to declare that we did not need a Messiah. The founders of Zionism were done waiting for a Messiah to save them. Most of them were secular, so they did not want a king Messiah or rebuilding the temple or restoring animal sacrifices and imposing religion. Theodor Herzl wrote, "Our rabbis will stay in their temples like our soldiers stay in their barracks." The ultra-Orthodox waiting for the Messiah were anti-Zionist, which makes them odd bedfellows with today's anti-Zionist universalists who may oppose the very idea of nation states, especially ethnic nation states. The ultra-Orthodox also make odd bedfellows with anti-Zionist liberal pacifists, pro-Palestinian protesters, progressives who see everything through racial and colonial lenses and thus see Israeli Jews as white Europeans, even though the majority of Israeli Jews have their roots in the Middle East and North Africa, in the non-Ashkenazi world. In the era of the protest sign, "Queers for Hamas," there is no limit for confusing connections. The key is, which Zionism are we talking about? Just like American patriotism. A Zionist could be someone who believes in the basic concept of a Jewish state, as a refuge, as a spark for Jewish cultural creativity, as the right of any self-aware ethnic group, just like Armenians or Serbs or even Palestinians. Or a Zionist could insist that every Jew must move to Israel, or at least every Jew should root for and work for Israel from the diaspora sidelines. A religious Zionist can believe that God promised the land of Israel to the Jewish people, both sides of the 1967 Green Line. A secular Zionist can believe that Jews have historical roots in the land, separate from what workable borders might be, and nothing to do with divine promises. Israel was Israel from 1949 to 1967 within the Green Line and without the West Bank, and the Israeli Declaration of Independence cites 0 divine promises. In the balance of Jewish state and democracy, some Zionists emphasize the democracy, working for a Jewish state that is also a state for all of its citizens, with basic rights, recognition of minority cultures, and fundamental dignity. Other Zionists prioritize the Jewish over democracy, insisting that the Jews are the masters of the land and treating the other as an enemy to oppress or even expel. There are Jewish terrorists who are Zionists. There are Jewish civil rights activists who are Zionists. The thousands of protesters rejecting Netanyahu through 2023 in peacetime and through 2024 in wartime, they are Zionists, waving the flag and singing the anthem. So too are Netanyahu supporters. These days, Zionist can even be used as a slur, and sometimes as a thin substitute for evil Jew or something worse. You may or may not consider yourself a Zionist. Maybe you're Zionist agnostic, or you do not choose a position one way or the other. Maybe you call yourself, or you know people who call themselves anti-Zionist. As for me, I do not fit into an easy box. I am anti-religious zealot Zionist. I support civil rights Zionists. I have no plans to move to Israel, though I have been there many times, and I will be again, and I have colleagues and friends doing important work there whom I support. I endorse a culturally Jewish state in some portion of that land, and I do not believe that ethnic states are impossibly anti-democratic. There are established national churches in Sweden and Norway, and ethnic rights of return in many countries. It all depends on how you do your Zionism. Maybe I'm Zionish. And what about anti-Zionism? Anti-Zionist Jews have 2 official commitments. They are committed to Jewish identity, since they still identify as Jews. And they are also committed to human empathy and human rights for all peoples. I believe that one can value both Jewishness and universal empathy and still be some variety of Zionist. I understand if anti-Zionists see the 2 sides as incompatible. Teku, as long as we agree on one thing. If violence against Palestinians is wrong, so too is violence against Israelis. Death to Israel, by any means necessary. Those are not simply conceptual exercises. They are justification for violence, both there and here. Sometimes we have to tell our allies they have gone too far, no matter which side of this Jewish divide we are on. What we do not need is the Jewish establishment telling those challenging Zionism, you're doing Judaism wrong and thus you are beyond the pale. We also do not need anti-Zionists telling the rest of the Jewish world they're doing Judaism and humanitarianism wrong and must be excluded and banned and boycotted. With no Messiah, there is no one capital T truth. We do our best to find our truth and to learn from others. The prophet Micah wrote, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, the Torah comes forth from Zion. Is that a Torah of strict laws and commandments and a promised land? Or is it a Torah of compassion and kindness and justice? One Mount Zion, many truths, many Torahs. The Jews have never had an infallible pope. The Jerusalem Rabbinic Court is long gone. And were a Davidic Messiah to arrive tomorrow, how many Jews would actually respond, Na'aseh v'nishma, we'll do whatever you tell us? If we heard a Messiah was arriving, we might ask, what is his platform and who is his running mate? We might also follow a different piece of Jewish wisdom. If you hear the Messiah has come while you are planting a tree, finish planting the tree first and then examine the Messiah. Live life. No one votes for a Messiah or for a God, and we who value democracy and freedom, we like it that way. In our days, we celebrate what the book of Judges lamented. There is no king in Israel, and everyone does what is right in their own eyes. Sounds good. There is no king in Israel, and everyone does what is right in their own eyes. No king, no Messiah, no consensus, more freedom. 2 Jews, many Judaisms, more wrestling, some teku, hallelujah, so to speak. I'd like to wish you good wishes for the new year. It feels hard to wish us a Shana Tova, a good year, not knowing what the new year will be. Some have begun to shift that blessing and that hope for the future a little bit, to wish each other a Shana Yoter Tova, to wish each other a better year in the year that begins. And so I wish you Shana Yoter Tova, a better year for this year. Once again, I wish you a Shana Yoter Tova, a better new year. Please wish that to the people sitting near you.